You are people listening from every corner of this planet. No knowledge has been dispersed so beautifully, so balanced across the planet, on this planet ever. Maybe in the universe. You have the full potential of achieving everything in the universe. There is no need and there is no reason for man not to achieve. So, wherever you are, the way I taught you to make the coils double inside, you have continuous equal gravitational magnetic field, and if you put CO2 on it, and you put zinc on it, you have connected the emotion of the man to it on a stable condition, and you'll find out you become a very peaceful man. Here, instead of having galaxies and universes and creating connection magnetically, we have used the matter state gravitational magnetic field strength to dominate and dictate the shape of the plasma. The nanotechnology, the nanomaterial which you have collectively developed in different ways, by caustic, by electric currents, by whatever, fire or whatever, has that advantage that the matter, the nano and the plasma is all the same. So connection is very solid, it's very strong. The power of the plasma technology, the way we have thought, is beyond imagination of the man. Now you can create and control the plasma, which is the mother of the creation of the universe. You are given the seed of the essence of the creation. The foundation does not belong to no one and is not made of one anymore. You are developing it. You are structuring it. Connected to another. We don't stop. We are working around the clock. The Keshe Foundation team is working irrespective of time, position, religion, country. And now we achieve what we set out for.
Welcome everyone to the 99th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace. It's Tuesday, December 10th, 2019. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Kremd. I'll be one of the hosts today, along with Flint Mulhausen. And we have our Universal Council people here and others that are gathered. And of course, we're joined with Carolina Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. And I believe she's ready to go with today's workshop. Hello, Carolina. Are you there?
Yes, hi, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon and good evening. As usual, I have my coffee ready. I hope yours is ready too, or your cup of tea, or your smoothie, depending in what climate you're, hot or cold. We are definitely hot, so still it is a coffee for me. Pardon. Today, as I explained in last week in different teachings, that signing the World Peace Treaty is not only signing, it is what will come with the signing of the World Peace Treaty, the involvement of global to all humanity, all souls. They're all going to be involved, they're all going to get exposed to the changes. So as Mr. Keshe is releasing in his public platforms a lot of information about what the changes will bring, especially with the unit that will be launched in January. There is so much information that it just goes over our head. We are there, we are present, we are listening, we are attending, but sometimes certain things only click when we have to go back in a few months' time or a year time. We go back to the before. Now we have managed with a big team of Universal Council members, knowledge seekers, but most important, the Universal Council support members and the councils are working together in groups to open up the teaching platform, and we have chosen number 300 because that was the start of the change. They are still going to try to manage to go 2 or 3 teachings before the 300 and then catch up as fast as we can until we reach the every Thursday morning platform. And because we have a gap in our trimester holiday period, we will be able to manage to get through these teachings and just pick out the most important, which are very significant for the change of humanity. But it's not only touching humanity, it will touch the souls which are living with us on this planet, which soon in the near future we will all come to get to know and to get acquainted. But the most important thing is, what have we missed? What have we not opened? And I have learned through the process of working through Mr. Keshe's work that first of all, try to work on soul level. Now, last time we touched how to create wishes, why wishes are working in the condition you position yourself into in a very simple way. You feel the rain, you touch the rain, you smell the rain, you stand in the mud because the ground is soaked with water from the rain. You embed yourself with what you want as it is present in that given moment. This is the same way of working. If we open his workshop and we go to the most significant points he brought forward, what is about to come, we give automatically attention from our soul. We know that this will be the progress we are going to. So what do? By paying attention, we release a field strength, which then that is already sending it on its way as an instant message to all the souls which will be involved in these changes. Then we have learned that when we create a wish and we shed the light on it and we give from our field strength, that it manifests itself in the matter state. You see the changes. There are so many changes coming on this planet. They're coming so fast that a lot of people even missing them, that they are there. But we as knowledge seekers, because we work so intensively with the wishes, we know that they are taking place. So, our team, are you ready to present? And we're gonna go. Oh, and what I forgot to say, which is great, we have decided to open, let's say we are talking now about the 300, to put it on the Wikipedia, on his own page, with the full teaching transcribed, with the pictures, with the images, and then below that will come the working document, which we will be working on today. If we can't finish it today, we will go to the next trimester on the next One Planet, One Race, One Nation, and open it up further until we have covered the whole teaching platform. So it's an interactive platform where you can see where we put the highlights of the points which will be very important for all of us. So if people have questions or they haven't understood something, this is a beautiful opportunity to have an interactive platform with all of you. Then we encourage, please call upon your communities to transcribe or translate these works and pass them back on to your community. We have seen that a lot of countries are falling behind because of language barrier. It should not be. We have sufficient enough knowledge seekers which can come and say, you know, I can take the first hour, I can take the second half an hour, I can spend an hour and a half, or I can spend 2 hours. Please do so. Please come in and support your members, because it's all for your benefit. Because the problems come when the knowledge seekers, with the translation bots and everything, it gets a little bit scrambled, as we say. We don't want no information to go wrong, and we want to make sure that all knowledge seekers come up to the same level of knowledge as everybody else. So we do encourage the knowledge seekers which have been attending for a very long time with the foundation, and I mean 1 or 2 or 3 years and longer, you have the experience. See who is capable in your community to support you, to hand over the back and forth with the papers, or do a direct translation and record it, and then ask them to type it out. Then it can come and be so beautiful on the Wikipedia, and it will serve so many. You have no idea how valuable your time will be as a volunteer to support this knowledge. It is beautiful work, and you learn at the same time you do the work. You get inspired because you are directly translating and receiving from Mr. Keshe. It's not a time you have lost, it's actually a time you double gain, because it's different listening than reading the teachings of Mr. Keshe and transcribing. We have managed with the teams to add the time where Mr. Keshe is referring to what we are presenting. So it will be easier for you, if you didn't understand the full transcript, to go back and listen to that part where that recording was taking place. So we are trying to accommodate everybody in every shape and form we can, with as much knowledge which is directly coming from Mr. Keshe. We just are opening up that we don't miss the points as we did in the past, that we stay on top with the changes that are coming. So if you have any questions about how to come, contact your knowledge seeker, pass it on to me. If you don't know where to go in the chat rooms, and we can celebrate or congratulate 3 new members in the Universal Council support member teams. One is in the Arabic language, one is in the Spanish language, and one is in the English language. So if you want to become support members to work in these teams, you are more than welcome. We will accommodate you, even though if you don't speak your language, we have translators, so we can keep you up to date. So language should not be a barrier. Don't hesitate. So Andreas and Peggy, I know you have something ready for today. Are you ready to shoot?
Yes, ready. Hello to everyone. Are you ready for this huge amount of information?
I am, definitely. No problem.
Can you see my Word document?
Yes.
And is the size of the text huge enough to read it? Big enough?
It can go a little bit. Yeah, that's good. At least for me it is. I do not know for the other knowledge seekers.
Yeah, that seems good.
Yes, it's only the table of content which is more little than the text. Yes, what we have done, we went with Peggy and Joachim through the 300th Knowledge Seeker workshop, and we transcribed nearly the whole Knowledge Seeker workshop complete. And then we make titles to every part of it when Mr. Keshe speaks about a different topic. And we have somehow 3 main parts. That's at first bringing the totality into new dimensions, where he speaks about different changes which will come through the universal systems. Then we have a part where he speaks about the knowledge of the universe, and we have a question and answer part. And we went to yesterday with Peggy through it, and we had to decide which parts we let in and which not. For example, there's things about the Belgian government or so on, we deleted out of it. But at all other topics, there's everything, every time something in it, which will change. And so we decided to let it in. How we should continue now?
If you go down to the parts you have saved or put with a special topic. Okay. Yeah, stop. Where Mr. Keshe is saying, bringing the totality into a new dimension, Mr. Keshe is referring, we try to understand more. We came from a scientific group to understand more about the structure of the universe. You see in the timeline on the left, there is a number. That's where this is appearing in the teaching. What Andreas just explained was they have left certain parts out because we are focusing, they are in the totality of the 300 when it appears in the Wikipedia transcribed. There you can find everything. Where we are mainly are concentrating on is what is Mr. Keshe announcing that will change for all of us. And then he mentions we all became to be equal, and we all start understanding the sharing knowledge does not bring superiority to no one. We have the accumulation of the amount of hours of teachings. So you can imagine he is summoning up to 2,000 hours of teaching. Now you understand my urging for translation, for transcribing. We can use the support for you to support your own knowledge seekers in your own countries. And he also has explained, no messenger of the Creator has ever left so much knowledge equal at the same time with a man and the universe. Because you have to understand, Mr. Keshe always has expressed himself that he's a universal teacher. He is elevating the totality, not only mankind. We share the knowledge as messengers to elevate the man and the soul of the man to a new high. And we understand from now on to go into the direction of understanding more in the dimension of universal understanding. The knowledge is shared with man from the knowledge of the Creator. We all understand, or for the new people which are coming in, that from just before the teaching of 300, and at the 300 platform, he has changed the direction of education or leaving the knowledge for us. It has changed from the matter state dimension to the universal understanding knowledge. And there he says, we brought and bring the totality to a new dimension. The video we saw is a new, never seen technology. In the coming time, we will show new, astonishing technologies. Then we dictate the condition and the term of use. It is very simple. You will understand and make free energy, and you stop. You will understand and make energy free of shackles of the material and make food free of the shackles of this planet. I will make man understand more about himself, that he gets confident that is, and he can be in a way part of the totality. It's him who let himself down to be. You can go to the next one, please. We can do things, but one can never imagine it can be done. We promise to bring you the peace, the end of wars. That was the biggest promise from all messengers of the past. And I, Mr. Keshe, fulfilled it. There shall be no more war. We all have witnessed this in the last few months. No matter where they were poking, they could not release that kind of violent wave in different countries. It just did not work. So that has been fulfilled. We will see some disturbance here and there, but that is what Mr. Keshe calls settling of the books of this on the soul level. Mankind will into a new dimension of understanding from now on. You will understand more as we start opening the knowledge of the universe. We are committed to our work. It does not matter what people say. Go on, please. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. You all have witnessed the video of the system. And this system is changing man's lives. This system will change humanity's life. So KF Spaceship Health Center in Arizona will be the first one that will open with 10 units. It will be a space lab for the time to come. This will be the center point of presentation of KF Space System. The 10 units will match the 10 units in Iran. As we said, we bring the two sciences together. They will be opening on the same day. At the same time, we try to open the same structure in China with the same units. Therefore, as we said, we keep the promise. The first, let's say, 50 units will spread by January across the planet at the same time that we keep our ethos and our work. the conferences and working with the governments, as he has explained so many times, is for you to get in touch with your local governments wherever you have access. There has been a letter released and reposted among knowledge seekers. Please don't stop sending the letters out. It is more important than you can even imagine to inspire the curiosity. What is this all about, these conferences? That's why he says, put pressure on the governments. We are in to change the totality. Yes, you can go on. Now, this is a part of where Mr. Keshe has referred to in our teachings, in his teachings actually, that the Keshe Foundation will show its beauty by cleaning up, by decontaminating in so many places on this planet. This will start with Italy. And the investment is from Keshe Foundation Austria. In Morocco, which is for next year, there will be more new things coming on the table. And we will offer world companies to become partners. This is already taking place. Wherever we have conferences, this part of this work is already taking place. But most of our work will be keyed up to the governments, that we go through the structure of the international conferences. We are here to bring together and to unite. But you are so much important part of this whole structure as knowledge seekers, because you create the field strength of wherever we will appear in the conferences in different countries. You know, you are already the bringer of the good news, because you are souls, you work with that beauty. That's why I encourage you to carry on writing and sending the letters out to the embassies where the conferences are going to take place. Don't stop. Please don't stop. And then, as Mr. Keshe has always said, knowledge has to be free and shared. There are still knowledge seekers which have not understood the ethos. You cannot steal from a gift that's been given freely. So the knowledge seekers which start claiming that it's theirs, how can you steal from a gift? It's already been there, freely given. So please, when you see these kind of behaviors coming into your communities, try to be kind and gentle with them and try to explain where the ethos in reality sits. It has to be understood. The knowledge has to be free. And the knowledge has to be free, and in so many ways, understanding that the knowledge has to be shared, it has to be free. But respect for sharing of the knowledge that keeps the society in order. That is exactly what he's referring to. You can't claim what was never yours, but was given to you is already yours. But don't possess it, pass it on, share the knowledge. You will receive so much more from the knowledge. And in the coming days and weeks, we will start releasing technologies that will change the course of humanity in a very rapid way. Has anybody any questions so far before we carry on? Because I might be going too fast and I don't want to do that. Has anybody any questions, please? About the units, about the conferences, about translation, about sharing? Anybody, any questions, please? You can put your hand up, as Rick says, your, how do you call it, digital hand?
Your virtual hand, I call it, yes.
Is it digital hand?
Virtual hand, I believe. Virtual.
Oh, virtual hand. And Mr. Keshe was requesting, can you put your soul up?
Your soul hand, you could say, yes. If your soul has a hand, put it up. So yes, the attendees can request that, and we can allow you to speak there. And otherwise, the panelists, which are the UC people and support, can open the microphone at will.
Can you read the next one, the delivery of the small units, maybe, Rick?
Okay.
That will, I will open that one after you read.
Okay, delivering of small units at 42 minutes and 8 seconds. We deliver you small units as small as smoke detectors, and you can place it around the house. You don't need to eat or to warm up. This will be shown as part of the structure at or before the Iran meeting. We will release an enormous amount of technologies. We paralyze the money transaction situation for those who live by money, because this has been one of the biggest problems on this planet. Greed for the money to bring power, that the greed of the power dictates who is more. You want us to show you the power? No problem. You choose how, and next page. How much head of states you want to walk around the world like zombies? I deliver. Understand, we make decisions. Emotion, thought, control systems. Face-to-face universal community. At 4307. It's very simple to understand. The technology is now a practical way away from the past knowledge, and on its own will make and take its own decision. In a short time, many of you will see what we call thought control, emotion control systems. The first ones are on the test at the moment. In so many ways, we decide anything. We don't need computers anymore. These are part of the teachings, which will come in the next 300 teachings. Man has to understand and gradually progress to this point. I deliver in the time to come the total interaction and the first face-to-face delivery of the man officially, publicly with the universal community. This has to be understood. It needs a lot of peace. It needs to understand that that is the time to meet, and in the next 300 teaching, as I have said, we open the universal community step by step. Most probably, we start with the small creatures that man can get position of, to see, to understand, to be friended, even though their lives are more intellectual than man. And then we'll go to steps of the full interface within the next 300 teachings. Then more knowledge will be told according to the man.
Okay. Thank you, Rick. Has anybody any questions on the first paragraph? If you can go back up, Andreas. Yes, this one.
Yes, I have
Anybody?
a question.
Okay.
I sometimes don't know when Mr. Keshe speaks about technologies, if he just speaks about field strength, which gets released. And here I'm asking myself, is this a product which will be available in the store or are that field strengths which are released without devices to us?
No, he says we deliver you small units as small as smoke detectors. These will be units that you can buy on the shop, so that you don't need to eat, no need to warm up, and this will be shown as part of the structure just before the Iran meeting or at the Iran meeting. So it will most probably all appear only in Iran or simultaneously in Arizona, and if they can establish it in China, most probably in 3 places at the same time. So when he says we will release an enormous amount of technologies, which means these will be systems that people can buy and start using. Where he speaks about we will paralyze the money transaction situation for those who live by money, that will not be coming by systems. That will go into a different way. When the time is right, Mr. K, you will see it unfolding. That's why he keeps on referring, I have no interest in the stock market, because it's just there to be able to advertise because of the publication blockage everywhere. We are kept everywhere out of the news channels. And this was the only way that we could reach more and higher for them to get to know about the Keshe Foundation. You understood, Andreas?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
We have a couple of questions from Susanna in the Q&A. She mentions it just disappeared there, that answer. She says, you've mentioned the knowledge is for free. I'd like to know if patches and other devices can be sold if someone produces it his or herself.
This is something which Mr. Keshe has announced a few teachings ago, that knowledge seekers will be able to participate to bring their products forward. They are working on this setup. Most probably in January, it might start rolling off the table, maybe earlier, I don't know yet. It depends in the phase of how ready the team is to deal with all this extra work. But he always has announced that knowledge seekers should be able to create an income from their own work. So you will be able to become part of the foundation because it is the work of the foundation, and to enjoy the bigger platform because we go worldwide. If you need to try to sell a few items in your blog or your website or just locally or on friends, you get a much bigger revenue when you will be able to come onto the shop globally with the Keshe Foundation. So you're going to have to decide if you can cope with the amount of orders that will come out. So yes, that will be able to be achieved. Anybody else? Any questions?
She also says, please talk about these small units and how do you paralyze the money translation, the money transaction situation.
That is the platform for Mr. Keshe.
I think he's talked about that in a way several times, I guess, but it's pretty obvious that when you look at the sentence before he says that we paralyze the money transaction situation, we will release an enormous amount of technologies. This is pretty obvious that the release of technologies makes much of what we're doing on planet Earth obsolete. We won't need the systems that are in place and being sold to people and so on and so forth at enormous costs if these technologies are implemented. So it's a whole different ball game, as they say, and you can see just from that, that as these technologies are being shown, it'll shake up the whole system. That's part of it, but like you were saying, Mr. Keshe wants to make it a shake-up without destroying the existing structures which are needed to implement everything and to make a smooth transition. I think that's important. Peaceful and smooth.
What was the next question?
I think that was it. The other part was, was the technology also to be shared for free and not to be sold and so on? But you answered that, I believe. So
the reason is what we put up in the shops, what we are selling, is to support the whole working of the foundation, to be able to release the knowledge for free. The knowledge is for free, not the units or what is getting done and in research. You have to pay for the buildings, you have to pay for the people which doing the research, you have to pay for the material, the hours and the time and the months and the years they're spending in these labs. It's thanks to their effort and relentless work and dedication to the foundation. They're not working for free. I don't think it would be possible.
They don't give us free electricity.
We have to pay our electricity bills. We have to pay our water bills. We have to pay our rent. We have to pay our taxes. We have to pay the employment fees. It's not falling out of the sky. So what we are launching in our shops for items to be sold is to support the Keshe Foundation in its totality with this work. The knowledge is free. The costs are, the cost you cannot even imagine. Even just today's platform, the Zoom accounts, all the dedicated Zoom account numbers for the councils, for the support councils, for the students, the time schedules, the translations, the transcribing, everybody is doing and putting in so much work, but not all of it is for free. We cannot work for free. That's why it's not possible yet. It might come in the near future, as Mr. Keshe says. Greed of the money to bring power, that the greed of the power dictates who is more. That will end. We will paralyze the money transaction situation for those who live by money.
If they do, how much are they every 24 hours? You would have given up the foundation a long time.
Mr. Keshe says, if you would know how much we are paying every 24 hours just to keep the whole foundation going, you would have already walked out a long time ago. I hope that answers your question.
And it's all financed, right?
And this is all done within the structure of the foundation itself.
All private.
It's all private, and it stays that way. Millions and millions are generated by itself. That's why Mr. Keshe said we have been offered lands and properties and God knows what. We have constant refused. The only thing which we allow to come in is the donations of the knowledge seekers. That's all, because you cannot bribe us. We work on our own strength. And apparently a lot of people have a lot of problems not be able to understand. We carry ourselves. But we are still the same as you. You have a home, you have to pay for mortgage, or you have to pay for rent, and everything that comes with it. We have still are living in the same structure as you. Is no different for us. Any more questions about this?
Carolina, it's Doug here. I was wondering, would it be fair to say that the small units are a miniature version of the Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit, or are they different in some way? And if so, how do they differ? Is it just the power of the fields that emanate from them, or is it, is there some kind of difference between the small units and the actual larger Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship units?
Yes, Nikolai has a question that ties right into that. Are the smoke detector style units rebroadcasters, so to speak, or do they generate their own feeding fields like little bubbles? So it's the same question.
In so many ways, you already have it. All of you knowledge seekers already possess the knowledge to do it yourself. How many teachings ago have we gone through the process of knowing not to eat anymore? A lot of teachings have gone into how you can stabilize the temperature within your homes. Most of you knowledge seekers already possess all this knowledge. But this time, the way Mr. Keshe is bringing it, is that you can buy it off the shelf, you don't need to make it yourself, and you just place it around the house and it will give you the same results. But you knowledge seekers are all capable of even creating these systems yourself. It's all about field strength. It's all about playing with the energy field strength. That's why Mr. Keshe said, walk away from the ganses and look at the field strengths. He's been encouraging you to walk away from the matter state and to look into the field strength. Next question or more questions?
I have a question to the small units. Of course, it's no problem to buy them. It's very important, I think, that you have to give something for such a good system, because it's kind of valuing it in some way. But I wonder, what about people who say, I cannot afford this? I mean, they also have to heat their homes, but I know a lot of elderly people, for example, they sit in cold houses, for example, or there's only one room heated, for example. So what can we tell them? Are there kind of installment plans for these units, or will it be affordable for everyone, or is it necessary to build kind of groups to finance something like this? What can we tell the people who cannot afford some big investments? Because let me say, the body enhancement unit is a huge amount of money for common people I meet in the street, for example.
Explain to you, this body enhancement unit is for clinic and hospitals. You don't buy an MRI and keep it at home. You don't buy an X-ray machine and keep it at home. These are keyed up for huge, what do you call, medical centers, health centers. These are not for individuals, and I don't know where people get this idea. We can't afford buying 150, in next 14 days, next 16 days becomes 500,000. This is not for public. No one keeps an eye. You might need a system once in your life if you have a cancer or you have something else. You don't buy an MRI machine, 1 million, 2 million to keep at home. These are keyed up for governments for what we set up as health centers. And then the fee we compare. We know, for example, if you have a cancer, in America, for a breast cancer full treatment now with chemotherapy is between $2.5 and $2.8 million. And in China is around about $200,000 to $250,000. When we put a price of $35,000, $40,000, who's working on which direction? And why should it be free from the foundation? It's a knowledge, it works, it has parameters it can deliver, and it does everything else. This, I don't know why people say we can't afford it. It's not for individuals to keep on at home. We have Chinese millionaires who want one at home. I said, no, you can't buy. In China, 150,000 is nothing. You got to understand, every day increases by 30 millionaires in China. China creates over 1.5 millionaires an hour. Every 20 minutes, there is 1 millionaire added to the Chinese public. And for them to spend 150,000 on a machine is nothing. We had an American rich guy yesterday who wants to buy a machine because he has a Parkinson. I said, no. These machines are for medical centers, health centers, for hospitals. And then at that thing, you're insured, you pay insurance, you have a coverage, and then it goes through the system. Or you do private through and you pay for it as it is. How come people spend $200,000-300,000 to get chemotherapy or different treatments, and when it comes to pay $30,000-40,000 to a hospital, which is not ours, we sell the machine and we monitor it, it's too much. This new machine is a tip of the iceberg, what will come out of foundation in the next 12 months. We just wait this to be completed, then one after another, you will see new technologies you could never imagine. They all run about 50, 100,000. And we're dealing with governments in $1 or $2 billion contracts. Nobody can question foundation, what it raises and what it does, because it puts back into what it does. We're non-profitable, and we work on a way that we see fit for the foundation to do its work. Tomorrow you hear there is a conference in Brasilia. This conference, to just keep it, is a free entry. Large number of people turn up. It's going to cost tens of thousands, but we look at what it brings long term for the foundation and what it does for the Equios Keshe Foundation supporters. On Thursday, most probably, you will see a new site, what we said will be launched on the foundation. People don't realize, we looked at 2 years ago, how many people you could see were always present around foundation. Foundation was paying it, they were abusing the foundation. The people who stayed around and went through it, we keep and we look after what it comes out that can be done. Why should it be free? Well, people in Brazil, there are hundreds of people in Brazil, make between $1, $3, some of them, they say $5,000 a month selling Keshe Foundation product. We wanted to ban them. We saw them, what can we do? We came in to help them. We gave them technology. Now they're making a living out of it. In China, over tens of thousands of people are making money out of Keshe Foundation, selling products, cancers and everything. When they do a statistic, more than 5% of the Chinese know about the Keshe Foundation and the work of the foundation, or they use their product. It's not a joke. Many people, tens of you just go on the internet,
Tens of thousands of people are making. How come they can make what the foundation cannot make from what he puts out to help the ones he can? When we talked to the guy in Italy, he had no food to eat. Now he's bought a brand new BMW. And who paid for it? Keshe Foundation. Stealing the sales of the Keshe Foundation. How come everybody else can do and the foundation cannot? It's our technology. When we do it, we give it all free. Give it to us free. I've created a bunch of thieves. We haven't stopped going after people. Don't do this, don't do that. We had a meeting with Brazilians 2-3 months ago. They said, you cannot take this certificate from us that we are an agent, otherwise we lose our livelihood. We are making money. And I asked at that time, Rui, just tell me what is going on. How much are these people earning that they're so, stressed that we take these certificates away from him? He came back and said some of them making $5,000 a month. And some of them make 200, 500, and that's the only income they have. In Europe, many people do. Why did one of their own members of the Universal Council resign? Because he set up a company, changed the name, and sold all the Keshe Foundation products. Has any of them come to pay the foundation? Chinese government assessment in 2018 was over 100 million KF products was sold in China on the internet. Forget about the private. 100 million 2 years ago. They even translate my books and they're selling it just because they translated it. I don't understand this thing. If we would take the money and make palaces and live in God knows whatever, yes. But you got to come and see how we spend on the foundation to be and how we live. And on top of it, I'm a self-made multi-billionaire. I don't need the money of the foundation. I put in the foundation tens of millions in the past 20 years. And I don't understand what is this, why, how we're going to help people who cannot pay, whatever. They're governments. When we govern, we set it up to be done the right way. And at the same time, we can help what we can help, who can be done. It's not selling by installments. We don't become financiers. If there are people who want to buy and sell installment, we can set up the structures for it. I hear so much of these things. You have to, why are you charging this? Excuse me, if we go according to Chinese statistics and American government and European government, most probably about 1 billion is sold on Keshe Foundation different ways. One micrograph here, one micrograph there, or whatever. What is the fund to the foundation? How much any of you paid in? And anybody who start making money, they can start accusing the foundation because they wouldn't pay anything to support. We have the guy in Germany. He made $250,000 in 1 year out of the foundation just using my name. And when we told him you're doing things wrong, he started accusing everything and set up another company and selling more with it. This puzzles me sometimes. Why we have to give everything free? Well, it is free. What I give you enough knowledge free. See if you can stand up. I don't the same thing with my children. I give them the best education. So you stand on your leg and see what you can. For what I spend the best education, I've given you best knowledge. You see what you stand on it. You can understand that's your problem. Foundations still have to live just because I educated you. And you don't need to look in my pocket. Have we sent any lawyers to anyone? So you're earning my name and do? It's very, very strange. I'm glad I'm leaving the foundation a year and a half, and I leave humanity to still puddling their own what they call behavior. We listened to one of the Keshe Foundation people who used to see be on the front. Yes, Mr. Keshe, yes, this. They send us a conversation and says, oh, Keshe pays for my holidays. He's a stupid man. He doesn't know he's paying everybody. Nobody does anything for him. But with my stupidity, we have a 200-300 million followers, and that's helping themselves with the cancer, with the pain, with all sorts of things. So if that is a stupidity, I'm very good stupid man. We cannot help everyone. The governments don't allow it. They don't want it to be because there's a big problem. This technology takes hold. The way it's going, you have millions of people unemployed. 3 months now, we are sitting, deciding, are we going to launch the no charge battery, no fuel to that car? You never need to charge. Do you know what's going to happen on the street? How many petrol stations, how many refineries, and how many sheikhs will go bankrupt?
My advice is work with your communities. Propose to them, because you have to always look at the solution. If you have these units coming up and they are within a price range that when they sit together and they sort it out.
You're not selling units to individuals.
No, we don't. But you're referring to the small. Can you go back to the other one, Andreas?
The smoke detector sized.
Smoke detector size. They will come into a shop here.
Which one?
Here we deliver you small units as small as smoke detectors, and you can place it around the house. You don't need to eat or warm up.
Those we can do, but at the moment it's not there.
But they're only coming in April, when Iran is taking place, just before.
It's already available. Can do, but it has to be with governments. They allow it to happen.
Yeah. They are already, when Mr. Keshe speaks about something, we don't need to develop it anymore. It is fully developed and the units are ready. But as he just explained, like with the non-rechargeable batteries, you have to look at the responsibility of the consequences of it. If we launch them and we sell them, you will paralyze so many chain of reaction which is existing today worldwide. The fuel station, petrol stations, refineries, oil supply, oil tankers, transport of oil, the products of oil. You have to go beyond just what you need. Don't be short-sighted. There is a reason why Mr. Keshe keeps everywhere, as long as possible, the balance. That what would it serve us to be able to buy a non-rechargeable battery, or that doesn't need to be recharged anymore, and for you to have the comfort, and for, let's say, how many millions of people will go out of jobs? Would that be justified? No. So that's why Mr. Keshe keeps on referring, we have to have the agreements with the governments. They have to allow these systems to come in to be able even to sustain themselves, that they can keep on running the country. Because as I explained, governments, through their taxes, they are running a whole facility of a whole city. Just be in a city and just look around the buildings, this infrastructure. Everybody is taking something home to their families, but it serves the totality of the community, the hospitals, the electricity, the cables, the roads, the green, the flowers, the trees, the cleanness, the services. You have people are too short-sighted on those levels. You should be happy to pay taxes. Because when you give to your society, instead of trying to take it away, there would be much more peace. There would be much more calm, not to look for more. You would be more involved in the infrastructure how you want it. Now you just pay your taxes and you curse the taxes and the money goes back. It has a field strength of returning to where it's supposed to serve you. The old people homes, the retirement homes, the people which have no high income, the social structure. We are all making ourselves so angry about it, but my God, just change your field strength and bless it. That the stress of the negativity goes out of it. Pay and bless the money and say thank you for, because I've been driving on my roads. I had to stop for the red lights. I have been able to go there safe. The police force is there, the medical force is there. You have a huge, beautiful service around you, but nobody is appreciating it. Because they have made your mind to click in the wrong way, that they are thieves and they're stealing. Well, you are actually encouraging, because you keep it in that field strength. How much have we learned now through all our understanding of our wishes? We put it in the beauty and it turns beauty. Isn't that something that, first of all, humanity should learn? To bless what is there and not to put a curse on it? Change that field strength and it will serve you. If every single one would not walk away from the acknowledgement to pay the taxes for the purpose for what they are supposed to serve, and you bless that money and it goes back to the pot, then it has the blessing of you. It can serve in its beauty. Now, 99.99% of the whole population is grinding their teeth not to pay the taxes. And because it has the wrong field strength from every single one, before it goes back to the pot to serve all of you, it's not logic, but everyone is creating that field strength because they have never been explained to look at the things the right way. Everything you think or return or give or donate or pay, bless it. Don't put that negativity energy to it. Then what the gentleman just was asking for the ones which are the elderly, speak to the families, ask them to donate for the elderly, even open a safe book and ask them to donate what, $5 a week, $10 a week. I think if they are there, they can afford it. Try to reach them who have the money by small donations to make sure that the whole structure of that building where the elderly people are, that they can have the benefits of this. Because and also go through your government, to the insurance, their life insurance policies. It's work, yes, I understand. But there is a solution for it. We cannot do everything. We can only make sure that you get to know that it's coming And that's one of the reasons why I opened this platform of understanding, to go to the depth, the impact on the infrastructure worldwide it will bring. We have had many people asking these kind of questions about the finances here and there, but has anyone explained to you how do you run your life? The foundation has its own life to run, and it still has to pay its bills, but Mr. Keshe has prevented catastrophes to happen, and he will not allow it, because just one example, a battery that not needs to be recharged, and just look at the chain reaction, what it can do worldwide. You want all those people to suffer because you want to have that battery to be launched? I don't think so. So bless it for it to come in peace, that it brings the fields of balance for everyone, but not to harm nobody. Anybody, any questions?
Well, we also need to consider the souls of the 10 million people who died this year due to just simply inhaling the results of burning fuels on this crazy planet. So that's a lot of suffering as well that could be relieved from with an energy generation system like a self-charging battery. But yes, there's definitely different aspects about that, and this technology can't be released all at once because it would be overwhelming for mankind, humankind, that is. And do we have anybody with questions here? We have attendees and our panelists, of course. I don't see any hands up currently. Looking at the YouTube and live stream. Okay, I think we're covered. Oh, we have Estella. Estella has her hand up. Go ahead, Estella.
Good morning. I just want to add something which I think is very important. As we look back, we are accustomed to always looking outside for the help, or we play the victim position, and you always pulling your hands out to grab some so you don't sink. If we really understand this technology, has a very deep meaning, which is reconnect to your infinite source of energy, where you don't need to grab your hand out to don't sink. Is to really get yourself sustainable and be able to collaborate with others, giving. And we keep going back to the old story that we expect things come to us from outside when we are the ones creating it from inside out. So for all those that are sick, I understand the sickness of the body, but comes from another, problems. And so we have to see the problems and try to find the solutions, but working from the inside out and staying in a positive position, because the moment you're looking at things in the negative aspect, you're creating that pattern again and again. And this unit, I see this as an opportunity for those that really need that support to come out and starting to create and collaborating and be connected to their soul. It's needed. But for those that they're learning the knowledge, we need to step up and understand the real, what it takes to let go of the old thinking and stay in the moment, and you can create and bring. If you think it's impossible to get the unit, if you really work from the fields and the focus and the belief, the machine is going to appear somehow, because those machines are the bridges for us to fully be connected on the fields and get the field strengths to be able to function in a free form and become the real, beings that we are. So don't think in scarcity, think in abundance. Those machines gonna appear where they need to appear, because there is another communication level, which is the soul level of those that want to really heal and really get connected. So understand that aspect. The universe is very wise. It brings solution where it's needed, and where there are still problems because people don't see the problems. They don't want the solutions. They get trapped in the problems. So I think very much, Mr. Keshe and the team of everybody, because it's really hard to keep it up, We are humans. So to those that don't understand, maybe it's good to talk about it so they can understand the multi-layer information that we're dealing here with. It's not a literally answer. You have to understand the totality, all the problematic we're dealing with. As Caroline said, you're dealing with your house management, the food, the kids, everything. On top of that, you're working at the soul level. On top of that, 50 more things. Who can handle that? Well, you need a really strong field and a really peaceful mind and emotional neutrality to really overcome all that information coming in. And nobody's going to come and save you. Each of us, we need to do the work to really learn to overcome the storm of the ocean, and then the peace comes. Well, it's training. But don't go off focus. Stay off focus. Understand that we are mastering all this complexity that we're dealing with. And that's the only thing I want to say. We have to look at it from another position and level to understand the complexity. And we are the ones bringing the solution and collaborating with others to make it happen. Nobody's going to come and save us. We are the ones doing it. I have to say, Mr. Keshe, yes, you really opened the door to all this information. And that takes bravery and consistency. But it's we are all one. And that's what's so important, the work we do of each one, to get the field strength to help this planet and everybody involved here, because that's the ultimate goal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Stella.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions? About the finances? Or is that sufficient enough cleared out? The Keshe Foundation is a house that needs to be run. And look how you run your own house. Run it peacefully and understand. And we try to...
We have a lot of naughty children.
And we have a lot of naughty children, as Mr. Keshe says. But from every nationality. We had the same... I see you. Your time, Mehran? No, okay. We had this the same thing. Just to give you a funny to understand, an anecdote. We invited the knowledge seekers to share their knowledge, what they have achieved up till today. To share this knowledge with the Keshe Foundation so that we could put it on the platforms and in the teachings and maybe in the shops in the near future, for others to enjoy, to learn from it. And we got accused, you're only coming in to steal. We were, beg your pardon? Yeah, you're only coming to steal. And Mr. Keshe's response was, first of all, you're using the Keshe Foundation, you're using my name, my logo, and the knowledge you are having, or say that we are about to steal from you, has been given freely to you. He said, how can I steal, or how can somebody steal from something that has been given freely as a gift? It means you have not become a true knowledge seeker, because a true knowledge seeker first has to go through the understanding of the ethos. What is the ethos of the foundation? The ethos of the foundation is to balance and make sure that you don't harm nobody. You respect everybody. And the only request ever been put out from Mr. Keshe is share your knowledge. Don't hold on to it. Don't possess it. Be the possessor from the knowledge as you know it, but pass it on and share it. That's how we're going to change everything. And if Mr. Keshe is withholding certain things, but he is announcing them, like these few topics which is coming up now through the opening of the 300 teaching platform, is explain that if it's not there yet and you cannot have the benefits from it, it's because it's been withheld not to damage so many more. If there are in the millions knowledge seekers, you have such an advanced knowledge, what have you done to serve your communities, your elderly people, your hospitals, your environment, your agriculture, your everything that you know to touch with this knowledge? How much have you donated freely, and how much has come back to the foundation? I can give you one answer. At a certain point last year, Mr. Keshe, by request of a knowledge seeker, he checked how much donations came in. We had $5 in the account of donation. $5. So you can make the account very easy. If we have so many millions and they're living from it, and whatever you do with it, have we come and knocked on every single one of your door and said, excuse me? So the foundation with its structure has to establish itself in its own freedom. So that is what we are doing. So that's why Mr. Keshe said, don't tell me anything, because I'm not receiving it on voluntary basis. I'm not receiving it back as donations that I can give it to you for free. Simply can't, because it's not returning back for it to go back. But we are sticking to our ethos that the knowledge gets released freely. And that's the funny part. When we ask to share your knowledge with us, to write your scientific papers, to send them into the webmaster, to go into the Plasma Times, to go into the teaching platforms, to go into the Wikipedia, to share with others, to translate, to volunteer for translation, for transcribing, for doing so many things that the foundation can benefit to serve so many more. I'm sorry, but you make the account, not me. You be the judge, not me. Because we don't stop. Because we have one aim, and that's working for the world peace. And to establish world peace, we cannot create chaos. And with that little unit, which Mr. Keshe says to go full blast out, you knowledge seekers, if you are in the millions, you all have the knowledge to already establish that unit within your own home. Most of the products that will come or coming in the shop is all for the people which cannot make it or produce it or create it for themselves, because the knowledge seekers, all the products that are on our website can make them themselves, because we have released the blueprints from it. We have guided you through all the private teachings, the public teachings. We shared it freely. So if there are no more questions, I refer in an answer to all these questions about finance. Humanity has to learn one thing. And it was taught, but not understood fully with the MAGRAPH systems, with the blueprint. He said, create your first MAGRAPH and give it away before you create another one for yourself. The only beauty within that framework said humanity needs to learn to give freely. And still, a lot of people have not understood that one. It is very simple. Huh? If I make a pen, I give my first paint pen away. Then I make one for myself. I create a paint pad for somebody, I give it away, and then I use one for myself. I make a MAGRAPH, I make one for myself, but first the one I make, I give it away, and then I make one for myself. That's the whole process of learning to give. You do not see the benefit and the beauty of what you will receive when you do this. The same with I explained with the tax money. Give it with pleasure. It will serve so beautiful and it will return to you. You might start receiving, because when you do it, put it in practice, you might start receiving reduction on your taxes and you say, my God, look how lucky I got. I got 10% back or 5% back, or I had $200 back from my taxes and I don't know why. Well, those are the gifts which are coming back when you have given freely. That is one of the main points humanity has not understood, to learn to give, not to possess and not to hold back, not to be stingy. But we're learning. So if there are no more questions, we can go to the next. This has been read by Rick. Anybody, any questions about we don't need computers anymore? Can somebody translate? There's something in Portuguese or in Spanish. I cannot really. by Will Fair. Que, I think it's Portuguese. Que as proporcios dos GANs devo usar no reator formato estelar. Can somebody translate this, please?
I can, Carolina.
Oh, I think it's about
I've got it here. It's
star.
what proportions of GANs should I use in the star formation reactor to balance the fields? The GANs types and correct proportions in each ball.
Oh, Rick, that's your topic, isn't it?
I just used Google Translate and it gave it to me instantly. It's my friend.
Can you go deeper into this, or you prefer them to refer to your Wednesday morning teaching? Rick?
Yeah, that's not something I could answer in terms of proportions of GANs, although we've discussed that in the last couple of Keshe plasma reactor groups, specifically with Mario. He was talking about using the same GANs in his star formation reactors, but using different amounts of the same GANs in order to get the interaction of fields and the rotation factor going and so on. So which types are used? There's been some teachings in the past by Mr. Keshe about that. I couldn't say exactly myself on that, but there might be others in the Keshe plasma reactor group who could answer that question. And it'd be something that we could definitely discuss if they wanted to come in with a translator.
Can you put the link of your platform into the chat so that they can pick it up and come and visit you?
Yes, the same Zoom number as this number, the public Zoom meeting ID. I can put that in now.
And it is at 7 o'clock.
Pardon me.
Go ahead, Caroline.
It's at 7 o'clock Wednesday mornings, room time, yes?
Yes, that's correct.
So the same Zoom number, Joachim, and that's a plasma reactor group with Rick, and they can attend. It runs till what time, Rick?
Usually for 3 hours, let's say. So from 7 till 10 a.m. Central European time on Wednesday morning.
And they always can go back to it because it's recorded and it's in the under the Keshe Foundation YouTube videos. So if you can go and take a translator there with you, then you will learn a lot because they deal with a lot of those topics there.
Caroline, could I add something?
Yep.
I find people always say, oh, I put to 20% of this GANs and 80% of this other. If we're making the CO2 GANs, we haven't got the foggiest idea of the proportion we have in our GANs of CO2 and zinc oxide. When you make a cake and you know how to cook properly, you just put a bit of flour and a bit of this and a bit of that. You don't measure it with a cup and say, oh, I'm missing 20 grams or 2 grams of this or 2 grams of that, or a slice of butter or what have you. The universe is just an equilibrium of fields. And we don't know what fields we have just nearby that are also influencing the whole thing. So why get married with those exact numbers, which are not really exact?
I always remember, thank you for sharing, John. I always remember from the time in Desenzano in north of Italy, that the less you put in, the more powerful they are. The loading of the reactors was always a small amount, because you're dealing with the field strength of the capacity of a sun in your ganses. You don't need much. It's all about the rotation and your positioning and what type of ganses you use. And Mr. Keshe has given a lot of hints in what type of GANs to use. Even when the presentation, you have to go back, Joachim, to the presentation about the Chinese reactors. When the videos were shown that time, you will find a lot of information there. Okay, we go to the next one. Message to world governments. Andreas, you want to read this one, please?
Yes. I have one message to the world governments. Collaborate and make it easier. Play games, you will find out there is no games to play. We go back in what we said and we keep our ethos. Ethos of the Keshe Foundation will not change. The situation which has risen for us has all have a benefit. There is always a good side to everything. Not a bad side, but it's for us to show the good side, because the bad side will be delivered by themselves to themselves.
I make a note here that it's not sight, it's side, S-I-D-E. It's a good, there's a good side to everything. It's not a bad side, but it's for us to show the good side. It's just it's kind of a totally different meaning there. Boy, instant editing, that's pretty good. Thank you.
It's about, we know about the 24 commandments and keeping our field strength, that we don't steal from ourselves. And so when we focus on the good things, we will keep our field strength and be happy. And it's up to the governments or to everyone not to steal from ourselves. That's the message of this paragraph.
Andreas, there's one more correction there. The first word of the last line has to be changed to side also.
Thank you, Doug.
There are a few mistakes in it. You haven't made it to control read it to make it perfect till now.
It's okay. Thank you. We will adjust it as we are going along. Nobody any questions about this one, the message to the world governments? It means we see what you do. Yes, go ahead.
So when you said steal from ourselves, means like we are one?
No. This is referring to the governments. The situation which has arisen for us has all have a benefit. There is always a good side to everything, not a bad side. But it's for us to show the good side, because the bad side will be delivered by themselves to themselves. So the ones which are up to no good, you're the one who's on the receiving end of what you created the bad way, because we don't change our position. It's the same as with the chocolate with the child. You steal the chocolate or you pay for the chocolate. You walk away with your choice. At the given moment, you make your choice to steal it or to pay for it. The consequences are for the one who is committing whatever he's committing, because that is what he decides to do. And this is a message to the world governments. But it stands equally for every individual. You all know the difference between right and wrong. It's up to you what you choose. But you have to take your full responsibility for what you made your choice and followed up on your own choice. This is a message to the world governments, meaning we know what you're doing, but we don't change your ethos. Next one, please. Live testimonials in health centers around the world. Peggy, are you available to read? Are you comfortable enough?
Yes, I will read it. Okay. You will see as we said, with the patients in China and other patients around the world, we will set, as we call, live testimonials as we open different centers around the world, that the doctors and patients can see the development. This is important, that we all understand how the technology is developed. Oops. Sorry, I went back up. This is important, that we all understand how the technology is applied and the progress is understood by all of us. What we call Keshe Spaceship Arizona, which is in the hand of control of Keshe Foundation, 51% shareholding and capital investment by American side, is one of the most center points of the technology. It will show the advancement. We put a lot of effort into it to make it the jewel in the crown of American operation. We have no problem with this, but at the same time, the American government has to understand we are in as one nation. We are not in as different nations. Investment in US is investment by all the Keshe Foundation as a whole, not belonging or be part of one nation. In the coming meetings in Brazil and in other nations, or other countries, excuse me. Let me start again. In the coming meetings in Brazil and in other countries, we make this very clear to the nations. We are not here to play the old game. We are here to play a new game, a fair, a just, and secondly, eliminating all the coins and all the damages which mankind has done to himself.
Anybody any questions? With this paragraph? Nobody. What did you want to say, Andrea?
Just if I should continue with the next one.
There was a comment from Gatwa, all the pains? Question mark. Is that part of the previous paragraph that he's referring to? What do you see there, Gatwa? Is there something we need to address?
Are
think
you
it's in the-
thinking when I said coins, is that where you're thinking pains, Katawa? I'm watching the remarks.
Yes, yes. That's the one.
Thank you. That makes definitely more sense in there. If we could change coins, yes. I was chasing that word yesterday, actually, trying to figure out what it was. So thank you very much.
He might have been talking about the monies of the world, because he did talk about you know, changing that and so on, so to speak.
Andreas, it's pains, P-A-I-N-S. Thank you.
Sounds much better that way. It must be correct. Do you want to, it'd be nice maybe for you to reread that sentence. Would that be okay?
Sure. Yeah, just there we go. We are here to play a new game, a fair, a just, and secondly, eliminating all the pains and all the damages which mankind has done to himself.
Great, thank you. So we should be able to carry on now to the next paragraph.
Did you want me to read this one?
Yes, why not? Yes, why not? If you're okay with it.
I'll do this one. As I said before in Italy with the Italian government, we are there to change a massive problem for the Italian nation. Many of you do not know, but with what we have in our position, we can literally bring the economy of Italy into peace. This is how powerful and how much we have access to information and knowledge which we can change. It's very easy. The Italian government has no choice but to collaborate in changing the life of not only Italians, but the rest of the world. We will release the documents through the Keshe Foundation Global, through our press media, and it's for the governments. And people to make a decision, and it's important for them, not for us. In so many ways, nations who do not collaborate, we have no problem. We'll make them to collaborate to bring peace. We make them to collaborate by knowledge and friendship to understand the game has changed. There is no more wars. We have to find a solution that no citizen is hurt.
Anybody, any questions about this one? Thank you, Peggy.
We should correct this a bit. There are no more wars.
But we don't want to change Mr. Keshe's actual words, do we? Because this was a transcript of his words.
Yep, that's right.
You keep them the way they are originally.
Peggy, I think in the previous page, you said possession. Well, you said position.
I thought it was possession also. However,
Yep.
I listened to him multiple times
Cool.
and
Yep,
it sounds like position. So I was back and forth on it.
I know the feeling.
So I thought, well, it could be either thing, and he may have his own specific meaning. So I left it.
Good, no worries.
Yeah, position.
These are part of our transcriber teams. They know and they get really familiar with Mr. Keshe's. Not so easy always, sometimes to type it out, but they try to stick to the ethos of Mr. Keshe. Don't change my wording unless it's really necessary. Okay, next one, please. No questions. You see, if you even stand just for one moment, Mr. Keshe is always taking care that nobody gets hurt, especially the citizens, no matter in which country, no matter in which content. That is our job. And as a knowledge seeker, you should be really have this on your table of ethos. Mark, you're one of the transcribers working together. Could you do the honor the next one, please?
No, I'm driving.
Ah, okay, no problem. Anybody else? Andreas, you know of the team that has been working with all of you?
Maybe Doug could do it. He's part of the transcribing team.
Yeah, it would be an honor. Yeah, it would be an honor.
Go ahead.
At the 49-minute 28-second mark, in part of the teaching today, I will start opening a new dimensions, which you all know, but you have to understand it. Knowing is different than understanding. As I always said to my children, when you comprehend, you don't need to remember. This is the key with the teachings from now on. You will be amazed how much all of it you know, and you will be amazed how much you thought you didn't know, but you know. We'll go into the structure of the soul. We'll go into the physical structure of the body of the man, and then we will go into the structure of the universal community. How the societies are established. Sorry, I lost it there now. Aha, thank you. How the societies are established in the universe. How structure of the understanding of the laws set up by different, what we call citizens of this universe for collaboration and cooperation. It's very much different than one mankind has agreed between nations of this planet. The principle and the work are understanding of the peaceful condition. War does not exist. It's something which is not in the vocabulary of the universal community. And now you understand why we pressurize so much to get rid of it, because we don't want it to enter into the vocabulary. We are aware of its damages. We are aware of its shortcoming. We are aware of what can do to us in an open society. In the coming past few weeks and months, more and more reports of interface or interaction with the universal community have been done. Many of you see more things you have never seen. There is a reason for it. We are trying to familiarize. These are the shake hands. These are the hellos. These are there to tell you we are here. But at the same time, you have to understand we are here till that's a question mark there, till the person who can confirm and can bring you to us at the same time.
Thank you. Anything underneath of this one, or was this the end, Andreas? Never mind the little typo, because these are normal with Mr. Keshe. This is the working document that goes under the perfect transcribed 300 teaching that will go first.
Do you want to speak about that paragraph, or should we go further?
If anybody has any questions. Go down to the next one, please. Okay. Any other person from the team, Andreas or Peggy, that you know that been working with you?
Elias is, if he is motivated, but also John, whoever wants to read, it would be beautiful to hear different voices.
Elias, are you there?
I'm here.
Who's that?
This is Elias.
Okay, go ahead, Elias.
Iran, USA, all nations, teaching all equal. I have started working with Iranian scientists to bring this position apart as part of the teaching. My work with the Iranian nation will stay
sacrosanct.
Sacrosanct.
Yeah,
sacrosanct. Sacrosanct, sacred, S-A-C, not S-Y. I'll have to look up.
Sacrosanct.
S-A-C-R.
Gatua has put it in the chat, the correct word. Spelling, I mean.
Here we go. Sacro, S-A-N-C-T. S-A-C-R-O-S-A-N-C-T.
Sacrosanct.
There we go. Thank you. It's an important word.
Okay, go, Elias.
I am committed to the nation of Iran, and I am committed to establishment peace in Iran through the present government of Iran, not by change. This is very clear. We respect every nation according to their, I think would be election of the people and their government stated. The same as we do with America, the same as we do with every other country. We are here to serve the nation, not the government of the nation, and the same goes with everything else we do. It has to be understood we are committed to peace, and peace comes out of strength with knowledge and technology. And as we said, status quo was kept for years because both sides had nuclear war weapon and they were afraid of using it on each other because they knew they both can I think it should be wipe each other out.
Wipe, must be wipe, yes.
We don't work that way. We spread the knowledge so much that nobody even thinks to have a position and I am stronger. It's just we are equal. My work is very well planned. Even, I think would be though, even though maybe in my look.
No. It was correct, even though. In my eyes.
Doe is not a correct. Doe is the name of a deer.
I know, but it's even though, that's how Mr. Keshe says, even though. It's not taught. It's even though in my looks, in my look goes everywhere.
It's just
jump it.
Okay.
I think it might look. It might look. And that can't be though. It's though. THOUGH. It might look. In my opinion.
He just pronounces it though, but that's the word is though. So some people say even though, even I say even though it's hard to in English to say the even though in without making it even though. So it's anyway.
It's and most probably it might look. But it's okay.
Should I continue?
Yeah,
yes.
we just should state maybe that many of these typos will be corrected later, and we don't have to really be too finicky about it now, probably.
Yeah, we will lose too much time.
Yeah.
We will lose too much time if we keep on stopping by them. We know more or less, even though in my look, it might look goes everywhere. And then carry on. It's just a matter.
It's just a matter.
Go ahead, Ilya.
Sure. It's just matter of putting everything at the same time. Teaching the kindergarten as much as teaching the guy in the 10th class and the guy who's professor, but they all come through the same channel, through the same process.
Okay. Anybody, any questions about this platform? If you can read the next one, please. Elias.
UBESU, a Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit example, Alzheimer/epilepsy patient. In going back to what we started with the video, our present volunteer, if you have seen today, he is down to the last 2 tablets out of what he started. We are around 89% clear of medicine, and we see a lot of developments. We will release more videos of him in the next couple of weeks. Then we will show you the other patient, which is with epilepsy. He is by tomorrow or by today down by 35 probably tablets. Tablets.
Yeah, tablet.
More or less out of 47. So we are left with round about 12 more tablets to come off within the next 2 weeks. So he'll be free of all medication. The beauty of it is that they start living a normal life, and the beauty of it is that mankind will start living a normal life.
And everybody is familiar with those videos about the Parkinson and the videos of it. Okay, go up. Next one. Andreas, who else has worked with you?
This knowledge seeker only Peggy and Joachim. But
Joachim, are you here? Joachim, are you here?
Yes.
Can you go ahead?
Yes, I can. Universal knowledge, cycle of life, traveling energy pack. Knowing and having that technology does not mean man will live forever. The soul will. Even his soul will come to the point of transferring his knowledge, transferring his strength to another soul, to the creation of the others. So, when mankind will just becoming part of the Keshe Foundation, does not give you a jail-free ticket card, as in Monopoly, that you never die. We all change position. We all change strength. And it's how we create it, how we accept it, how we celebrate life at the point of celebration counts. In so many ways, man has to learn. He just changes address of a home. Sometimes the address of the home of the soul has to change. You don't want to live in the same house for 1,000 years. So what you call death is just change of position, close to the soul of the man. And the sooner the man learns this, that easier it becomes for man to understand he doesn't need to grab, because the end will come. There is no end in reality, because even at this stage of life, man is part of a changing process. It will never start with him, and it shall never finish with him. In understanding this, we try to teach more. In understanding this, we try to get you to understand the facts about cycle of life, cycle of, just a minute, cycle of transfer of fields. That's all human life is. That's all life is in the universe. A process, a cycle of change of different strengths. It's a voice coming out of your mouth. It's a thought coming out of your brain, which creates that voice. It's that voice which goes down that line, and it's that voice which is again energy field itself in transfer and transformation, which is heard by another man, and he changes his life or does something because of your voice for the energy he receives. And we understand life of the man is just a traveling energy pack. Nothing more, nothing less. It's no need to be proud of what we call the body of the man, because as we have seen, it's just temporary clothes, temporary shackle for the soul of the man. In his travel of his energy through the dimension of the life of this universe, and sometime sooner or later, mankind will come to understand this. Me again?
If anybody has any questions, I see there is a question in the Q&A, Rick. Is that possible?
Yes, we have a question from Susanna. Says, is this document we are reading down now, I think she means available, and do we have it in Portuguese?
This document will go on the Wikipedia, so it will become available. And that's why I have been calling into the Portuguese community to find volunteers to translate or transcribe in Portuguese. One of my suggestions was, if it is possible, to find knowledge seekers that can do instant translating like if Mr. Keshe teaches on Thursday morning, to have somebody from the Portuguese team that speaks simultaneously as Mr. Keshe is releasing the teaching, and to put it on the recording and then make it available on the Wikipedia under the languages, so that you can go back and listen to it in spoken in Portuguese. You can also use subtitling, or transcribing takes more time, or you try to see how Google Translate, automatic translator, does the job, but somebody has to verify the translation because it makes a lot of mistakes. So it depends on your communities to support you to make it available in your language. Anybody, any questions about this paragraph of Mr. Keshe, part of his teaching? And yes, it will be available for you on Wikipedia. Anybody his virtual hands up or not?
Not seeing any hands up right now.
Okay, Andreas, do you have any other council members that have helped you?
Yeah, we are all working
I don't know.
together, and I'm just waiting for volunteers.
Was Pia there?
With
maybe Peggy knows more name.
Yes. Hello.
Were you part of the team, Peggy?
Yes, and Pia's here. Pia is part of the team.
Okay, go ahead, Pia, if you want to be so kind to take this part for your responsibility to read.
Yes, I will go and read it. Universal knowledge, creation, body, fluidity, how do you spell that? Of fields.
Fluidity.
Fluidity, thank you. And this is from 1 to 10. But in fact, what does it mean? How does your body structure works? How do you come to exist? What is the difference between the body of the man and the stone? Both are creatures of God. Both are created through the compact and impact of what we call different strengths and magnetic fields. But how come that we can keep some dynamic, and how come that we cannot keep some dynamic? How come when we put dimension of the fluidity of the fields, when we create intelligence, how can mankind come to understand that with this knowledge, as you understand from now on, everybody is in the same boat? Shall I read the next?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Universal knowledge. Deciding of dressing up and changing the soul and the body. In so many ways, in olden days and even now, many of us still go to a tailor and we buy a suit and we buy clothes, or we cut it out ourselves and we decide this is how I'm gonna look. This was the fitting, the outfit of the physicality of the man. Now we are teaching and understanding the soul of the man and operation of the soul in respect to the fields of the universe. The fields of the universe become the scissors and the decision of the soul of the man. This become a cloth. You decide in which way the cloth is going to manifest itself. Are you going out with a summer suit, or are you going with a miniskirt? Are you wearing a fair coat, or are you becoming an Englishman? Fair coat and no knickers. So you have to decide how from now on you dress up the soul of the man. Up to now you have dressed up the physicality of the man with different shapes and clothes. But now you come with the new knowledge to understand how you dress up the soul according to the position and the presence of. On this planet, you might need many different characteristics. Oh, there come again. How do you spell that? Or pronounce it?
Characteristics.
Characteristics. But if you understood much easier than the bird did, as we did with the bird, we have shown some times ago in the teaching, you can change your body the way you want, even on this planet. It's just you who need to decide. Do we have tribes who already do this? In the technology development, which are even discussed with the Iranian scientists yesterday, those who listen and understand the step of the knowledge, you can decide how you can manifest yourself at the position, at manifestation in the dimension of the environment of the new systems. As one of the things that we will teach, and these new systems will come in, you go to a Walmart. You go to a clothes shop and you buy new clothes and you come out. If you understand the work of the soul of the man, with the new universal systems, you can go in and manifest yourself in the dimension and the shape and understanding of the satisfaction of the soul of the man and manifest yourself. Do not forget, this is what mankind will do in the span of the universe. Now you understand how we are opening the knowledge to you, how you have to see and understand what is about to come. Do you want to talk about this?
I can't help myself, but it's fur coats, F-U-R coats, and no knickers, not fair.
Must be petticoats, petticoats. I have
Trust.
petticoat, not fair coat.
No, it's fair coat and no knickers.
Yeah,
It's an old
Fur
English
coats.
saying. Yeah, fur coats and no knickers is a funny old English expression where people are pretending that they're very opulent, but they don't have any clothes on under the fur coat. They look like they're well dressed, but they're lacking the underclothes.
It's typical English language.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
Anybody, any questions, please?
Taylor is Tailor too. Yep, Tailor. Sorry, I'm a transcriber.
Oh, you can go back in the team after and do all the corrections.
Okay,
But
no,
please
I'll be doing that, don't you?
Don't change the expression of Mr. Keshe because they are priceless.
They are priceless. Yeah, that's for sure.
Andreas, would you honor to read the next one if there are no questions?
Yes.
No hands up.
Can I ask you a question, Caroline?
Yes.
Wouldn't be this point the one, like, for example, when your fields are not really balanced or you don't have enough field strength, it's also because you don't have trust in yourself, and then even if you're trying to manifest something, things not happen because you're not having the field strength. And I'm just bringing this up because I think this is a very important point, and is we are working toward this goal, and they're baby steps, and then I just want is like
what he also means in this part of fair coat and no knickers is man is not transparent. You see the physicality and it is dressed up in clothing, so it's hidden. Your true what you think, what you feel, what you sense is not visible to the others. It's hidden. That is what he started explaining, that on soul level, your dress code will be according to the universal community understanding. It's a different level. They don't wear clothes. Souls do not wear clothes. They wear colors. And according to your colors, that is your position where you are at that given moment, present. In the physicality, we can pick up quite a few senses if you feel safe or you don't feel safe, or somebody is nasty or you don't feel comfortable with somebody, but these are just very light senses that you manifest. And most of them are even disregarded. They're not taken into account except in strange or extreme situations. Meaning that the man is hiding a lot of his true identity, and that's why he keeps on referring. You can lie because it doesn't matter, I see your soul. So if your physicality wants to play that game, that's fine by me. It's for you to position yourself that even you're in the clothing of the body, of the physicality of the man, you should be straightforward. Don't have any hidden agendas. That is where most of the knowledge seekers are running into problem in the structure of the foundation, because we try to emphasize the understanding of the ethos. Be correct in your conduct. Say it the way it is, because then we can do more for you than when you keep it hidden and then it pops up anyway. Sooner or later, what your agenda was originally will be on the table. And then the embarrassment doesn't come for us, but it comes for the one who's been trying to hide it. So don't, Mr. Keshe, in this kind of way or shape or form, tries to explain, don't do. Because as I explained the anecdote with the four people sitting on the table and the 4 souls on top of you, your soul is always present. Nothing is hidden. You might think, but it is not. And your soul doesn't abuse it. It absorbs it and converts it into knowledge. So when the one guy is telling to the other guy, I caught, 4 big fishes? The souls are already communicating with one another. He says, no, these were not big 4 fishes. He only caught 2 little ones. The whole understanding is that even the guy who sits next to him, which was witness to the catching of him, the 2 little fishes, should be in a soft way, gentle way, put it straightforward on the table. No, you didn't caught 4 fish, you only caught 2 little fishes. That is without harming or hurting the other person, but to put him in the reality of to be correct. Because your soul already carries the knowledge of the correctness. So you always have somebody on top of you in the soul level, which is your soul, your own, which carries the balance of your books. So you, in true sense, you're never hidden. You might try to masquerade because you think you're in the physicality, you think you wear a certain dress code, but the souls are always straightforward with one another. So nothing is hidden. You might try to fool yourself, but in reality, this is actually something very beautiful, because even when you have the habits of doing or saying something wrong, or, bursting out or responding in a wrong way or in a kind way, it might put you to the alert factor that you have a soul which follows you, is always there. And you can always go back if you have made a mistake, and it will make your life much easier. It's like a burden of your backpack, as I call it. You just empty it. You become lighter, you feel much more comfortable, and the embarrassment is just for a few seconds, but it's corrected. You don't allow the others to carry on with that little mistake or the big mistake you made. Just go back and correct it. That's how you reposition your soul to make it much easier to interact with you, in a very simple way of explaining. You always have your partner, which is your soul. Nothing is hidden from you. You might pretend, but that pretending is up to you, not towards the soul which is in front of you, and vice versa. That's where he's referring to the clothes of the man.
And this is something really important, because what I see, people get accustomed to live like it's okay to lie. It's okay to pretend. It's okay to not show your true self, you know, and it doesn't align with who you are, you know.
Okay, thank you, Stella. Are we, did we complete this part yet? Not yet.
No further questions? Okay, we go to the, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. If there are no questions, I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat room. It's okay. Andreas, you want to go for the next one? Or do you
Yes.
have anyone else in your list?
I don't want to mention names. That's for volunteers. But I can read, no problem. So I
Yes,
start.
please.
Universal system. The soul changes according to our wishes. The release of the universal system is not just what you thought. It's more to it. As one of the Chinese guys has recently sent a message. Is a carrot and me sitting on a donkey and the donkey running for the carrot. There is no donkey, there is no carrot, and there is no me. You have to understand, it's you who decides the carrot, what you want to be. So with these new universal units, it's not just getting rid of Parkinson or get your soul elevated. The next step of the use of this is the system matches to your soul. The system is set to match your wishes. Then you will understand there is no need for the frog to wear. If you do what the universal teachers do in so many ways, they are covering their sexual organs, that this is the biggest problem for the man. Then you will find out you have nothing to hide. There is no reason to hide. Only you decide to see, will see what we call the naked body. Wearing of the cloth and hiding it will be over. Very soon, with the systems we will show, you will understand this.
Sorry again, Andreas. The word is frock, F-R-O-C-K, not frog, I think. Frock is a...
How it's written?
F-R-O-C-K, frock. Yep.
Yes, that I was wondering. Thank you. Okay, can we go to the next one?
If there are no questions, yes.
Universal knowledge, Arizona cache spaceship system, clothes according to your wishes. In the structure in Arizona, the way we have discussed will be that you can manifest and can manufacture not only what you want, any material you want. Part of the Arizona cache spaceship system is not just for environmental, is to show how to make water, is to show how to make material, is to show how to clothe yourself according to your wishes. It's a very bad news for this if Solarant guys, if you know what I'm talking about. This is needed to be done. When we take you into space, you don't need to run all the way back to Marks and Spencer and to buy something, to cover something, to cover 2 holes and 2, I don't know what. You will understand the love, what you will show, will manifest your position. I want only such a person to see me in the position in my emotion on certain behaviors. This is not a dream anymore. Slowly with these systems, we create a condition to elevate the soul of the man, to learn about this process in his soul. Now you understand what the use of the systems of this system are and why I introduced the universal system at this point. Universal system, understanding what these new systems are. Any person tries to copy this will make sure they will have a big problem in their hand through their soul, because the system has to be done the way it is set up by the Keshe Foundation, because we know how we are structuring it. It's understanding of totality which counts, and understanding what these new systems are. Step by step, I'm opening the dimensions. Step by step, we know what we are doing in the structure of the technology. You will see people will change. You will see people will walk into these systems, realize that trust has to become from inside the soul of the man and not inside the emotion of the man. Then you will change. You will take new steps in life. You will understand, do I need to kill something else, trying to kill something else for me to have? Yes, that was it with that.
Anybody, thank you, Andreas. Anybody, any questions regarding this topic and the change it will bring to the totality of humanity? Is there a question in the Q&A, Rick?
Yes, Dan asks, when did Adam and Eve, the soul and physicality, realize that they were naked in front of the Creator, before or after knowledge?
Say again, please.
Dan says, when did Adam and Eve, soul and physicality, realize that they were naked in front of the Creator, before or after knowledge?
Knowledge of what? And nakedness in what way? If it's on soul level, naked doesn't play any part in the universal community. Because you have your field strength, which is your clothing. You have to realize, if you go into the presentation part of the video, And he says, when you look from outside to this planet, you don't see no difference between a child, an old man, a dog, a cat, a bird, a tree. You only see light because you only see the soul. And from here on, when you go, you become a star. You become a field strength. You are a field strength. It's just you are always visible to the Creator. And you always carry the full knowledge of the totality of the universe. You have to go back to the teaching of where Mr. Keshe explains about the sperm and the egg, where they evolve to a certain field strength in the matter state for it to be ready to receive the field strength of the soul. That soul is given from the totality, which means it's complete. It knows everything, it has everything, it carries everything, it's complete. And even the soul makes its decision if it will descend into the physicality, yes or no. It has that free choice. So the soul is complete. It just is a different experience in a different field strength, but the soul decides. So does that soul decide where and how, what to wear, and the knowledge? It already received the knowledge, complete. There is no point of reference when or before, or we are limited in our understanding, and that is all changing since Mr. Keshe has brought all this knowledge. You can find the answers by going through the teachings. You are complete. Your soul at the point of departure knows everything about everything. That's why he is pushing so much for us to choose that path of the education he's giving, the knowledge he's giving, to set our soul free. Because we are in a cage of the physicality. And we don't need to have any doubt. If we want to come back into this physicality, we can. It's for us to decide when to let or to set our soul free. It always will return because it has a commitment with the physicality. There are two souls. You have the soul of the physicality and you have the soul, which is your soul, which has an agreement with the physicality. That's why you can't commit suicide until your term is finished with your physicality, to what and towards what it has committed itself to keep the balance. That's why Mr. Keshe keeps on saying, if you only knew the beauty on the other side, as we call after death, if you only knew how beautiful it is, you all commit suicide from tomorrow, but you can't. Because you have a responsibility towards your physicality soul, and in that agreement you respect one another, and when the time is right you depart. But you are a complete soul. Any more questions on that level? Peggy, or any other volunteer from the team that's been working. You were about 15, so there should be more people there.
What did you need from
Would
me?
you-
I heard my name.
Yeah, I know I called your name because you can recall who was working on this.
Oh yeah. Jeanette is on the team as well. I don't know if she's here or not. Let's see, Mark was driving.
I think Jeanette is translating live.
Yeah. So she's got her mouth full already.
Ursula, Yvonne.
Ursula, Yvonne will stay silent, I think. Ursula, are you there?
Yes,
Nope.
I'm here.
Hi.
I'm here. I'm listening to you. Hello to everybody. I'm working also on many things at the same time. And I have been working.
Can you read the next part, please?
Why? With my beautiful English. So,
why not?
Well, if you it's very simple. You will see in the coming time with a new understanding of the structure, soul, or of the cell of what we call dimension of physicality of the man. I will allow you to change the soul of every part of you, soul of physicality, man, and then in reality the soul of physicality is a collection of the interaction of the soul of every cell. The only evolution is the revolution of understanding the truth about the operation of the soul, the man, and how it responds to its environment and its position, I suppose. Up to now, the man understands there is an evolution of the soul of the man, which he himself is responsible for. Nobody else. And then you transfer this evolution to manifestation of physicality at the point of decision making of the soul of the man. Soul of the man has emotion, the same thing what physicality has. Then you have to understand the emotion of the soul. Then you understand how we work and change things accordingly. There cannot be any misunderstanding. The development of the new enhancement unit is to enhance the soul of the man. We don't really mind. We put the physicality inside. It is the education. It is the process of education of the soul of the man to bring the mankind to understand that and start understanding a decision making between the interaction of soul, of physicality, and to soul of himself. If you understand this, life becomes very easy. Now, with the new understanding, what means? New open the structure of the soul and the man, because of you understand where the soul in respect to the physical manifestation, in being able to observe and understand the feeling of the material needs, there's a questioning, or needs to understand. Who would like to have something we can pick something up? So you decide how long the arm is going to be. You decide how long the leg is going to be. Or you decide why you need a leg on this planet or not. But you have to understand, in any shape or form, through the soul, I can travel all dimensions of creation. The delivery of the universal system is piece by piece getting unrevealed. By the time we reach the delivery and showing of the systems in Iran and in Arizona, we will be sample. Mankind will be told enough to be next 3 months to understand. When I go to the system, it is not the system which works. It's me who asks the system what to elevate to me. Then the physicality will follow and mankind will start getting educated. Then you enter this system. When you enter the system, you will be as naked as you, soul. I mean, it's your, yes? Many people will walk out of those systems with a lot of changes. Many of you will find the truth yourself in what you wanted to be. I continue, or will somebody want to take it?
Carry on, please.
Okay. The point of world leaders from now on it will be challenged how they peel and be the cause of peace. We have sent the first creating of it. Is this creating of?
We have seen the first cheatings of it.
Cheatings, that's a new word. Of it in the last couple of weeks. Russian and Turkish president achieved peace in Syria, and America cheated. Those world leaders who look for real, that we call prices of life, are those who commit themselves to the peace. And this is our wish, and you will see it will get more and more. The understanding of the new technology is that it is your soul that changes the position of who changes the position of the soul of the others. If the sincerity of this wish and giving by the soul is true, is the essence of your own peace. When you are at peace by yourself, you can do so with the others, that they can take more, that they can reach your point. Plasma of the higher strength always give to lower, and there is nothing more stronger than peace, which means living almost the others with equal shares and equality than anything else in the universe. Then you understand how we decide and how we change. In reality, when you enter this system, that you will see that every cell of the man will shine, because each one is star. Each one carries his own dynamic plasma. When you will see how you want to reorganize the stars according to the pleasing the soul of the man and not the physicality of the outside, when you walk out. In this process, many of you will to come understand one thing. What is all this fighting for? Why is all this suffering for? Why mankind has created so much mayhem, and what is our responsibility from now on? What do we understand? We are committed to peace on this planet, or are we committed to peace in the universe? If you target for the later, you will find out the first one is no problem. UC members have to elevate our understanding of the soul and the work of your soul to the next level. Excuse me. Of the next to the next level high. You have to start establishing understanding the soul of the work of the soul of the universe, not the mankind. You already carried that. The whole structure is a step up. In so many ways, you have to understand. Nothing will stop us from what we have committed ourselves to. We show you so much knowledge, so much technology. We show you much understanding of the universal work that it overwhelms you. You realize how feebly the mankind is. You remember, some times ago, not very distant past, we used to go in cars and make telephone calls. We used to telephone centers to send a telegram. Now, with delivery of these universal systems, we give mankind those what I call telephone booths back. Not the red ones, the English ones, but everyone is on every nation. These systems are set up to be the line of communication with the universal community in the first step, till mankind matures, that he understands how fast we want to take that revolution forward. As I said before, G9 is in communication line with the universal community.
Just a pause, please. Thank you, Ursula. Has anybody any questions about the above? About the systems and the changes that they will bring, the changing and the positioning. Anybody? Nobody in the YouTube or in the live stream? I would like to advise a lot of people to go back through these readings and understand why and what will change with designing and achieving the World Peace Treaty. These are the first steps, but they are huge. They are not little. And it is in different layers what it will bring simultaneously. That's why I'm asking if anybody has any questions regarding this.
The only question I see is, sorry, there is one question in YouTube that didn't get answered earlier, which I should have addressed, because from Siamak, who says, "Hi, Professor Mehran, is it true you helped Ali Khamenei live a long life or live a long age with plasma technology?" And I'm not sure if Mr. Keshe wants to answer that question directly or not, but that's the only question I see right now.
I can't even answer that.
I think Mr. Keshe may have referred to that at one point in a workshop, but let's just keep it as a rumor for now.
Yeah.
I was wondering, would it be fair to say that if one world leader steps up and signs the World Peace Treaty, that's like the first person jumping into the pool, and then everyone else will jump? Do you think?
if you have paid attention to the reference of Mr. Keshe, that he said, even the world leaders live a normal life and they're getting touched by the Keshe Foundation knowledge. So they are already getting touched. And you also don't forget about the One Belt, One Road. This is in conjunction with the Keshe Foundation. So the peace treaties are getting signed. Whoever comes to work or be connected with the Keshe Foundation is signing the World Peace Treaty. So the Keshe Foundation is actually operating in all different levels of the society. Nothing is skipped, nothing is overlooked, nothing is forgotten. And that's why we insist so much of the knowledge seekers to understand the ethos. Carry the ethos in your heart, carry the ethos with your behavior, with your conduct, and everything will fall in place, especially for you personally. The opening of these teachings is to open up the platform of the mandate of the Universal Council. So as we will slowly start governing, that we can put all these references of work into the mandate so that we can present them to our governments. The same way as you are presenting the letter to the governments as an introduction towards the Keshe Foundation, they might have never heard of you. The ministries, the sub-councils of the government, you're touching their souls. So you inspire them to become curious, and then because you touch them, they change position. And you also have to understand, when the time is right, when the magnetic field strength is sufficient enough for that to bring that change, it will manifest itself. But we are the generators of that field strength. We are the ones who are creating that path. You don't understand how beautiful you are working in the true sense. If you are a knowledge seeker working with the ethos, what you bring as a change. You're such a big part of the totality of the change. Find your confidence in that. Find your respect towards the conduct of the ethos in there. You're on the right path. Never mind you make a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. None of us is perfect, but we are all working together and balancing one and another out to create more balance. I have a few knowledge seekers with the wrong behavior. If you have noticed in the classrooms, we don't ban them anymore, but we put them silent so they cannot disturb the classes anymore or not teach wrong information anymore. We allow them to partake and participate in receiving the knowledge, what is going on the teaching platforms. Before, we used to really just stop and out. If they are being completely removed, it's because of their own conduct, not because of the Keshe Foundation. Because we try to work with our ethos, and that is the only thing we are requesting from the knowledge seekers. So if that respect and that conduct and that correct conduct of teaching is not there, we have to silence them. And if the conduct carries on misconduct, then they get removed till they elevate to the level of understanding that when you're ready and you can conduct towards the ethos and the platforms we are all creating for one another to be able to progress faster than losing time to correct somebody, then they always can come back. But it depends on their own conduct. We only take care of the majority that wants to learn, wants to share, wants to work together. At the end, how many times can we explain? The ethos is your own conduct. We just try to position it that it's equal for everyone. No more, no less. And if you're silenced and you're not allowed to present something, you have to ask, what is my conduct? Don't point the finger at the foundation, nor at the host, nor at the co-host, not even at the decision makers to put you on silent. You first have to ask yourself, what is wrong with my own conduct? That's all. And if you change position, then everything clears up again. Anybody, any more questions? Or what has inspired you to be as a knowledge seeker? There is a Q&A, Rick, I see. And yes, Ursula, we have to translate them in all languages.
Susanna says, I wish I can read and record this document in Portuguese so blind people can have access to these informations. Is that a good moment?
Sit together with the Portuguese team and find some reliable translators and get to work. We cannot be everywhere, we cannot do everything. And as Mr. Keshe announced, we have our meeting in Brazil, and the knowledge seekers are our guests. So we will have a wonderful meeting and a lot of knowledge will be shared. And it must have revealed something special that we have turned up again in Brazil in such a short time. And it will not be the last time. It means the energy and the change and the knowledge and the presence is required. It builds up that field strength to balance the fields. Because 3 people really did their utmost best to make sure that the Portuguese-speaking language from Brazil was cut off from the Keshe Foundation family. And now, very slowly, they find the confidence to come in. And I don't mind if you type it into Portuguese, because you've seen there is always somebody that can translate or help you out. You can even ask your questions in Portuguese. It will be translated. Don't hesitate to ask your questions. And that counts for every language. Don't feel outcast because we are running this platform on English mainly. But if you have questions, it doesn't matter in which language, there is always somebody that will be able to provide you with a translation, so you can receive an answer straightforward, there and then. Even in Mr. Keshe's platform, don't hesitate to ask a question in your language. It will be more than appreciated. There are more questions appearing there, Rick.
No, Susanna says, okay, thanks. And yes, I understand. Wonderful.
Okay. Obrigada. That means thank you. In spoken from a female. Obrigado is from a male or a man. Okay, who will be the next one who likes to carry on?
Well, we're at over 3 hours, almost 3.5 hours here now, Carolina. Maybe we should think about wrapping.
We have?
Up. Yes.
Oh my.
Yes, we're way over time here.
Okay. Yes, I will just finish this last part. Mankind decides where he moves to different position in the elevation of G5, G6, G7, G8, because you all like something to do with something, that you get the highest number to go to get there. 9 is the highest number to go back to nothingness. So if you can register that we have stopped there, because I think there's not too much anymore. Okay, I will finish to complete it. You got to understand how to utilize the new systems which we release. We will go into the production of releasing tens of thousands a month across this planet from different places, because it will be needed by every nation. It will be needed by every man to create the first conditions. The understanding of the elevation of the soul of the man is very much to satisfy the hunger of the physicality of the man. You have not satisfied the hunger of the soul, and you never understood the hunger of the soul of the man. That then it manifests itself and will show itself. So we will conclude until here. It will appear into the Wikipedia. Correct, Andreas?
Yes, we need a few days more to control read, and then it's on the Wikipedia. But
Okay.
we have still the last part of the teaching, the questions and answers part, where a lot of important informations in it too, different ones. We have to finish that.
Okay, no problem. You're in no. You can finish everything, because this is the last One Planet, One Race, One Nation for this year. Next year we start, at what date do we restart in January, please? Anybody?
13th.
Is it
15th of January. 13th is
15th of
Friday, isn't it?
Flint must know.
13th is Monday,
Oh,
January
right now.
13th.
all right, yeah, all right.
Okay, so everybody put it in your agendas, the 13th of the 1st of 2020, which is a promised year of a lot of changes. And I mean a lot of changes. It's going to be amazing what we're going through. So be ready, take your rest. Also the teams which are working on these, take your time, celebrate with your families Christmas and New Year. Take it easy, don't go too much. You have sufficient enough time to get ready for the others, because it takes a lot of time to go through the huge amount of information Mr. Keshe is leaving in every platform. And it's only going to step up. So we are actually trying to catch up, as we say, not to become a ketchup. I will give the team the respect of closing down. If anybody has any more last questions, please do ask before we say goodbye to one another till next year. Nobody? So, for the people which we will not see again until next year, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I thank my hosts and my co-hosts, my knowledge seekers, my council members, my support council members. I thank you all for all these weeks we have worked together, and we will see each other and bump into each other in the private working rooms of the Zoom. And I do urge everyone who wants to come a support council member for whatever language you feel comfortable with, please let us know. For the next few days more, I have the webmaster with me. So if you debrief me that you want to take position there as a support council member, let me know, because we can position you fast in the room if you are already a student. We know you, you're registered, so it's not a big problem, and you don't need to go through all the filing system of application. So it's only for the next few days still available, but get in touch with me or through somebody else to let me know. We can make it a fast track, just for a short period of time. Any questions about the universal units, please send your requests to the emails. They will get answered. Give them a few days time. I know you're running out of time for ordering the systems. Position yourself. Yes.
Can I say, when you finish, can I say something?
Yes, okay. You need to ask something.
I just want to say to everybody, be in nature, experience the feels, be in peace in nature, blend with the earth and with the sun. Put a vision of what's the life you want to have and share and collaborate. See this beauty of 2020 as a portal of a new way of living, and I hope we are all united when we are in nature and in peace. So Happy New Year.
Try in the holidays, thank you, Estella. Try in the holidays to sleep as near as you can to Mother Earth. We had this conversation recently with me and Mr. Keshe. He said, you have no idea, mankind has no idea. If they only could sleep closer to Mother Earth, it would eradicate a lot of illnesses and would stop a lot of problems. So go lower with your beds, nearer to Mother Earth, and become much more healthier. I thank you all and wish you a nice end of the year. It's for family time, children time. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Flint. Thank you, hosts and co-hosts, and definitely the teams which have made this possible to be presented today. And they are not finished yet. See you all in the next few days. Tomorrow is Rick in the morning and me in the afternoon. And then we already go on Thursday morning to Mr. Keshe's presentation. And we have a special edition, pardon, on Friday for closure of the term with Mr. Keshe. So be present. It will be announced in the Facebook and the chat rooms. I think it starts at 2 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, and we will see how long it takes.
Would that be a public or a private presentation you're talking about?
I have no idea.
Okay. Watch the announcements then.
Yes. I can ask, just 1 second. It's private. It's always been private, Mr. Keshe says. No, you're saying goodbye for the rest, closing of the year. It's always been private.
This year is not me, it's the head of the Keshe Foundation.
No, you will be part of it. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Carolina and Mr. Keshe, of course, for all of your help and guidance through all these workshops and through everything this year, since we're kind of, this will be the last one of this workshop for this year. So thank you so much for everything that you've done. Of course, everyone else, as Carolina has already outlined, but she doesn't mention herself, which is another big part of that picture. So thank you. Okay, I think that wraps it up for today's 99th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace for Tuesday, December 10th, 2019. And And I'll take it out with the donation video here. And we'll see you in one of the following workshops.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. KesheFoundation.org/donate.